Yeah, so I think you challenged me, was it last year, the start of last year? And I literally was trying to figure out how I'm going to do this. And
And you had a set.
I was going to do that 1 minute thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I only come up with one joke, but I don't know. No, it's actually pretty lame.
So can I ask you,
Yeah.
when you had a joke idea,
Yeah, I got a joke.
what was your strategy? Were you gonna just try it on a bunch of friends, or
I've tried it on friends and it goes pretty good. So,
Okay,
So
that's a start.
It's like George Costanza when he says one good thing and they all laugh and say, okay, gotta go. Bye-bye.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, here it is. So I was in Los Angeles. I was at the Universal Studios. This is a true story. And I was with some friends and my flip-flops broke.
Mm-hmm.
And in Australia, we call them thongs. Thongs. Yeah. Do you call them thongs or flip-flops?
Slip slops.
Slip-slops.
In
Okay.
South Africa, yeah.
Okay, so we call them thongs. So straight away, it's
Or
not a good
flops,
thing.
yeah.
So anyway, I was walking around and it was only like just after lunch, so I went into the shop and I said, I said, hi, and she said, how can I help you? I said, oh, you've got the female thongs over there. Do you have the men's thongs available?
Yeah.
So we don't have those sorts of things here. And I was like, oh, come on, you've got the pink ones over there. Where are the black men ones? So we don't sell that sort of thing here. And I was like, that's fine. I'm just going to go to another shop and find my black thongs. And she said, you do that, sir. And then my friends are outside laughing. And she said, did you say flip-flops? So there you go. That's all.
Nice.
That's all I've got.
That's a story, though.
Yeah.
Is it a true story?
It's a true story. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, yeah, it is a funny story. Isn't it a joke?
I don't know. That's the thing. And that's why I started doubting myself, because it's not really a joke, is it? It's more of a...
Yeah. You know what's funny, though? Like, people... Not funny, though. It's like, people's... What gets the most laughs are, like, incidental comments in the moment.
Yeah. But I just don't know how to get to that punchline. I want to... You know, have the good comedians that have the background, and then all of a sudden it's just that bang, like the punch in the face.
Yeah. Because, like I was saying, like, most good comedy starts with a fact. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, in Australia, we don't call them flip-flops.
Got it.
We call them
So
thongs.
I should have done that at the start.
So everyone's like, okay, we got it.
Got it. Okay.
And it's like...
So they're waiting for that.
So it's like, the difference between joke writing and storytelling
yeah.
is that joke has a surprise that the audience is waiting for,
All right.
that they cannot predict. And then a story is, most people are one step behind the plot line and they can predict what's happening next with few twists. Like, a couple of twists in a story, good, but like, if there's a twist every beat of the story, you can't follow it.
Yeah.
So if you're telling a story, if I know we have a word like fanny or a fag, like smoking a fag.
Yeah.
So like, okay, so the audience is like, oh, I like this. He's gone into a unisex shop. They've got them in the windows, whatever.
Yeah.
They can predict, okay, the next step is coming. The next step is coming. How are you going to ask for this?
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm Australian.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say this.
Yeah.
You know how, whatever. But then the audience is with you along the way, and they're like, "Oh, I can't wait."
I feel sorry for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
So what's the twist?
Yeah.
So if you find out what people expect, it's like, oh, the expectation is you mean shoes.
Maybe I should have.
The twist would be, actually, you do want a black thong
well, maybe.
to go with your flip flops.
Maybe
You know what I mean? So
that would just turn it on a...
So that's what I mean. So it's like the story follows the beats, and then the joke is, oh, I didn't know you were Australian. And you're like, yeah, I need my thongs fixed, but I'd like something to wear with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you need something that's unpredictable.
Yeah. So you need one twist in a story, or not too many. A lot of people try to make a joke everywhere along the way, and it takes you out of it.
Got it.
But sometimes a really hard story needs like wordplay sort of jokes along the way to keep you like not going too deep into it.
Yeah.
I would joke about watching someone get murdered and then
why am I laughing?
Well, because it shouldn't be it literally is a joke. It's the opposite of what yeah, also actually it was cleared, but I can't tell it because the audience just
they're in shock. Yeah.
But yeah, but you sort of tell the story and it's like, oh, I watched the guy die. And I'm telling a therapist that I watched the guy die. You must have heard this joke.
I think
and then
so,
the therapist said, oh, that's terrible. And like the last thing he saw was my face. And it's like...
Got it.
It's so mean. But sometimes you tell a story like that and if you leave too much silence... The audience feels so tense that they want to break the silence, and then the joke's done.
Yeah.
Like,
got it.
I did that story at a poetry reading, and I asked the organizer not to say I was a comedian.
Yeah, right.
So I just told the story about the violence that was in my university. It was true.
What was the reaction?
So I was like, and then the therapist looked at me and said, the last thing you saw was your face. And I played it deadpan. Yeah. And there were like 4 dudes in the audience. They were like... and I could hear them breaking. And it was like glass cracking. It was awesome.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's okay to laugh. Because that shit really... I was like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But... because they always used to say, oh, this guy's a comedian. And I'm like, please... Like sometimes I actually just want to talk about normal things. But a lot of the problem is people are like, "Oh, is this one of your?"
Oh yeah,
and it's worse when it's actually funny.
Did your wife say that a lot, or
no,
are you just
no.
testing this out?
Never. Yeah, because the stuff that's from our life, it's funny later when I explain it to someone, and they go, "That's," you know what I mean? Like in real time.
Yeah.
She often will say something's not funny. Like, that's how to hurt my feelings. And we're like, oh, you finished all the milk. She's like, what is that supposed to be funny? I'm like, it's not even, what?
You're trying out new material? Or
She's
what?
like, this is how she can get at me.
Yeah, right.
When I started comedy, she would listen, cause I'd go home and I'd listen to my set and she would, you never spoke about me today.
Yeah. Oh, right.
And I'm like, you don't own my like she has to be in it.
Copyright or something.
Yeah, like I don't need you anymore. I've found jokes without you.
Yeah.
Because that's like what I have now is like the first album of material.
Right. Yeah.
And no one's seen it, so I can tour it.
Yeah.
But I'm sick of telling those jokes.
But that's one time I see you also. You just come up one night. And it must have been just a random night where you just said, oh, I'm going to try some old jokes tonight. I just got that feeling.
Oh, that was one of my funnest nights. Yeah. I was doing the Taobao.
Yes, Taobao. Yeah.
Yeah, the cats and dog stuff. It was at Park 7. Yeah, I remember. Yeah. I actually posted a lot of those jokes. That was the first time I told that joke about my Chinese name.
Oh, yeah.
But that was just like a true story. But it's like, yeah, it's kind of fun. Getting the old jokes out.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time...
But it's a whole new...
in all creative endeavors, they say that the reason why artists hate their material is because their talent hasn't caught up with their taste. So, like, your taste is really high, and the reason that you know so much about the thing is because you consume the best of it.
Yeah.
And then you start, and you're just like, I suck. And then, like, if you watch a great comic and you're like, I can do topics like that. It's like, yeah, but you haven't done it for 30 years. So no one's ready to hear you talk about it. I'm lucky that I'm older. Like, if I wasn't the second oldest comedian in Shanghai, I would, and long long live the guy who's the oldest, so I
Yeah.
can hold on to this. Like, I wouldn't be able to talk about certain topics, but sometimes, like growing up in South Africa, like the violent stuff and it's like some people ask me how I came up with that. I was like, no, I literally got shot up. So it's like I wouldn't make that up, but you want to talk about stuff, and then you're like, oh, the audience is still on language misunderstanding jokes.
Right.
They're not ready to hear about a revolution, you know, or you know.
Yeah.
So, and then you revisit the jokes because sometimes the joke's fine.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with the joke. You just don't know how to tell it yet, and then you get on stage 100 times or 500 times, and then you're like, go back to your joke book. I promise you, those ideas you had then, because you're not dumber then. Like, you know, most people start mid-20s or later. You're just as sharp and intelligent. Your instincts were correct. But failing on stage sort of beat that confidence out of you. And you got to, like, rebuild that. And then, yeah, some of those jokes were good, but they just bombed all the time.
Yeah.
I was drunk
But they didn't
the first
bomb.
4 years I did comedy.
But they didn't bomb that night, but that was the thing.
Yeah, and then I was just having fun. It also helps having, like, a guy like Frankie in the audience who's like an easy laugh.
Yeah.
If you could pay, and Adam was there, this, you know, that guy, red hair?
Yeah.
Sat in the front a lot. Like those people, and also like when I see you and him, I'm like, shit, I can't do, I have to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But people do enjoy watching jokes grow. I feel like you're a comedy connoisseur.
Yes.
So you'll be like, oh, I like how you changed that joke.
Yes.
But a lot of comedians see the same face and they're like, I have to do all new material.
Yeah.
Hunt.
Yeah. He's still saying that joke now. And I was like, oh, dude, come on. Is he too shy to like change it
What
up?
is,
Or
you mean on showcases?
Yeah.
You know, funnily enough, Han Q.
But the thing is, I guess, if every time it's new people,
He does
getting
this, what we call tried and tested.
Yes.
Yeah. But you know what's funny about doing tried and tested jokes is that you're like, because I have a set, I would confidently say what like a professional comedian is a person who's tested jokes on 100 audiences and it's worked 80% of the time.
Yeah.
May not be the funniest person on the day, but you can reliably book that person. So that's all it is. It's like average. He's got more material that works consistently. I went to Guangzhou. All my jokes worked where they're supposed to work. A failure to me now is the level that the response was, not whether or not I get a response, right? So like a headline comic, it's like, oh, I bombed. And everyone's like, yeah, but we had a good time. It's like, yeah, but I missed that joke delivery. I forgot a line.
Got it. Yeah.
But everything is supposed to work when it works.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if an airplane pilot's like, I almost landed that. No, it has to work.
Yeah.
But you can have a good landing and a bad landing.
Yeah.
But landing is not negotiable.
Got it.
So we're at that point where it's like the joke might not work at all.
Is he writing new material? Have you seen
More
him?
than anyone.
Great. But
This
is
is
he too shy to...
That's the point.
gung shy.
So
Yeah, right.
Han writes amazing jokes, but he has no confidence in... Some days he just goes for it. But like, he'll rather be safe. And he's like, this works. And he does it.
And it's true.
Yeah.
It works. And like he smashes it. He should know by now that there's going to be people that are going to be coming for a second and a third time.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's like... Rolfie May is a famous comedian, really, really fat guy. He came second in the first last comic standing competition.
Right.
And the guy who won was kind of like a hacky Vietnamese American. Oh, my mom Asian. She's so like... and Rolfie got standing ovations on every set that he did. But he came second. And coming second made him way more famous. People thought he got screwed, and but Ralphie May would always say, "Tell your best jokes," because you know even if 10 people don't like it because they've seen it,
Yep.
it's better that 190 people see your good joke. So the weird thing is, so I've had that thing as well. It's where like, okay, I've got material that if I'm feeling sick on an off day, I can go into autopilot and then tell those jokes and it'll be fine. It won't be great.
Yeah.
It'll be okay. But it won't bomb. And Frankie will say, fail.
Right.
And he'll go out there and he'll be like, I don't care.
Right.
And I'm like, you know, one bad review online, you and Lily were talking about comments. You've left a comment on the internet before?
Yeah.
You ever got drunk and left a trolling?
Sure. Maybe not comedians, but
I use it for joke writing practice.
Yeah, right.
So I see a thing, I respond to it. If I got 3 in the chamber, I'll wait for a response. But I know personally, I have no emotional investment in who posted it. I barely look at the name. I don't care. I like stimulus, reaction, next video.
Yeah.
And to sit for more than the amount of time that troll took to write the thing. Now, fair enough, that comment's going to live there and other people are going to see the comment.
Yeah.
But overwhelmingly, you look at a video. So my highest one, my first one was about Russians have 12 Russians inside them. I don't even do the joke, but it was like in elevators in China, the weight requirement and the people number are disproportionate. Like, obviously, fatter countries will have less people to the weight, right?
Yeah.
And then I said Russian people weigh more than any of us because actually one Russian's
They got the
12
double.
Russians.
Yeah.
It's a dumb like Matryoshka doll joke.
Yeah.
People like from Schindler and must have been like, this is not how weight is decided in it. Like, I'm speaking at a keynote elevator convention.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, the most I'd ever seen like views was like 4,000.
Right.
And I was like, oh, that's what I get on a video. This thing got 150,000 views. And I had a panic attack on 10,000.
Yeah, right.
And then I was like, I'm too overexposed. I can't. And then there were these, what are you talking about? That's not how elevators work.
Yeah.
And like people were fighting in the comment section and I was like, delete it. And then I'm like,
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah.
But you can't help feeling that.
That's right. Yeah.
There are people that post like hate, like Ari Shafir when Kobe Bryant died, famously like called him a date rapist or something, and comedy clubs had death threats, and he just did an interview saying, yeah, that wasn't real either.
Yeah.
People just mad on the internet. So you look at a video, it's like 1 second of your time, and then nothing, and then the person who posts it's like, what did I do? You did nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's so weird. Like the last one I did was like, I only ever post dumb jokes I don't ever do. It's like, I don't like using chopsticks when they spin the food around because I eat out of a box. Like Chinese food for me is stationary.
Yes.
And people are like, come on, bro. What do you mean you can't use chopsticks? I'm like, did I ruin your shit? You know? It's like,
oh my God. Yeah.
so yeah, it's weird. Like he did a joke about Han's joke was Bill Burr he sent it to Bill Burr.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and he's got like so much courage. I don't want to say big balls. Never seen his balls, but he he went to Austin. And I told him I had a friend in Austin that's been to China a few times.
Yeah.
And before I connected with my friend, he had emailed him. And I was like, now you cold called this guy. And he messaged me going, hey, some guy just dropped your name.
Yeah.
And I was like, you should have just let me.
Yeah.
But he didn't wait. I was like, I promise.
Showing initiative.
Yeah. He emailed Anthony Jeselnik's manager.
Wow.
he didn't get on the show, but I think he was like, can I open for, how many other people did that?
I like
Probably
that.
none.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that initiative. Yeah.
And that's what you're doing. It's like how many people are doing a podcast? I'm sure there are many, but we don't.
Foreigners.
Yeah.
In Shanghai. I don't know. Maybe there are, but.
Yeah. What's your plan? Are you going to stick around?
I take it year by year. I just signed another contract for 12 months. So
Yeah.
I love the bands. That's partly the reason why I'm still here.
That's what I'm saying. My dream here is to like get all the lifers. Like there's a bunch of us that are married to locals that have kids or whatever, and start to build something with a bit more permanence that resembles a base that you can work from. Because that transient nature of Shanghai is the reason why something like COVID could reset it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because
Absolutely.
yeah, Dubai's calling, and people like that. If they can't grow any roots, it's hard to keep them. So I always like ask because you're creating this thing, and it's like if you just keep creating and doing it, it'll grow into something.
I feel like I'm one step behind you, comedian career, with my podcast. I think that it's that next step. Like it's like getting that visa for me.
But you have to it's a hero's journey. You have to make a sacrifice, and you have to have your setback, and you have to have your, if I hadn't been an alcoholic, I would never have met my wife, and I would never have quit drinking. You know what I mean? Like all the things. So like when I left the theme pub group people, and that was like kind of like when you quit alcohol, you have like a recovery job, like that takes you out of. So I was like in the office, and I wasn't working in the clubs anymore, and I wasn't around that. Yes. And then it allowed me to, and then quitting drinking made me much funnier. Right. I like basically restarted comedy again. Yeah. Because you know what's better than fake confidence is real confidence. Yeah. Like just be confident. Yeah. And then you're doing it for real, and then you actually start to build a base. Yeah. And I feel like you just keep doing it, but we don't have. It's very difficult to find a group of people and say, "Look, I don't need you to work with me, but I know I see you, Byron Hill." Like that dude's been here for as long as I remember, and every year I like wish him happy birthday, and I'm like, you call me, I'll be there. Yeah. I want you to know I'm still here. Yeah, but like you don't get to see these people, but they've been around. Yeah, and it's like, and then you've got this like whole world. Like, okay, what's the theme of Tell Craig a Story? It's like entertainment based. Yeah. But then you've got business, and then there's another one I think Dawn Wong did that was like people arriving and leaving. Yes. I think Jorge just did it. Yep. I just want to make something like where foreigners can feel like it's okay to live here. And I don't mean not become like learn Chinese, and I don't mean don't do that, but I just mean like stay true, like the way you would have a Chinatown. You can go there and feel like you have a thing. Yeah. And I think English comedy provides that. That would be good. And then, live music provides that. Live music's a bit better because you don't have to understand the language to jam to it. That's true. You're going to really have a good time. But then you can have a really cool music festival that has all those elements. But what you've talked about tonight is very similar to being in a band, but as well. Yeah. Set list, what you're gonna say, what you're gonna play, what music you're gonna play, the style, having the crowds. Is it good? Is it bad? Do you like it? Trying to promote it. So a lot of similarities. The DNA of live performance is the same elements. You're like, well, how do you feel? Are you present? Yeah. Because it doesn't. I mean, really, that mindset is the hardest thing to explain to anyone. Is that when you walk out on stage, are you like in the moment? It doesn't matter if the lyrics are written already. Yeah. Like you're like, you are the lyrics. And then most people hate their sets because they don't like their jokes that much. So like if you
Well,
can,
why are you doing it for then if you don't like your jokes? Isn't that
'cause
the...
your talent doesn't match your taste.
Ah, okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's just like when I see like a married interracial couple that basically reflects my life in China, I get excited to tell that joke because you know what I mean. Like they can all turn around and say like, "This guy's 5 years ahead of me."
Yeah.
You know, and the same with the podcast. Like if I'm like ahead, it's like they don't have to be the same thing. You just say, okay, well, what did they do? What would be really cool is to have what like the UK has, where it's like you can get a government grant to do a creative thing that I'm pretty sure those programs exist.
Yeah, I'm sure I could do it in Australia as well, but yeah.
Elvin got a grant to do his comedy show at Edinburgh.
Right.
He quit his job and I'm almost certain those programs exist here, but I don't know if they would do it for stand-up or podcasting or
Got it.
not without conditions.
All right, Ian, let's get close to wrapping it up.
Lightning round.
Want to talk about your mid-autumn festival show coming up as well.
My Life in China.
Yes.
You've seen it.
Yes.
What did you think of it?
I did. I liked it.
Well, fortunately, there weren't other people on the show, so it was the best one. I've refined it a little bit. So that show has about an hour and 20 minutes of material in it. The shortest I've done is like 50 minutes, and the longest like an hour 10.
But it's hard to judge because, like I said, I've seen you maybe at least 10 or 11 times, at least. So when you're doing your own show, I'm just happy for the crowd to be hearing it for the first time.
Yeah.
And like, I'm sort of jumping on along with them, but also waiting to hear some new material as well. And like you said before, if it's an old one, are you going to mix it up a little bit? Or
yeah, so
go with
what's
the flow?
nice, so that's a show now. So like it's called My Life in China. I want to like internationalize it a little bit. So I could take it to Edinburgh or tour it, you know, like take it. If I would go to Thailand and do a headline show, I was thinking between like the UK model of creating a piece of work. Like it's not really My Life in China. I actually want to drop the South African stuff, most of it, and do a South African based show, and then just talk about China stuff. And then I can have like My Life in South Africa, and then like every year in the UK you do your Edinburgh set, and then you tour it. I think that model, because of the clearance process in China, is better to just write a 2-hour show, refine it down to an hour, and then run it.
Pick the best bits.
And then my idea was to just say, let me do it once a month, and then I can forget it and do new jokes.
Got it.
So I'm happy with the show. But every time people laugh in a different place, you're like, oh, I can fix it.
Right.
So Spicy gave us so many audience. It gave us the opportunity to refine stuff.
Yes.
And then one of the things you want to do is delete as much as you can. And most young comedians want to like expand their jokes.
Right.
I get so excited if I can get to that joke without this, then it's perfect. It's like, so it's getting, the shorter it gets, the better it gets. And then as soon as people laugh, you tack on some new stuff. So which one did you go to? Would have been the October last year.
I think it might have been March.
Yeah, also because we don't get to run it that much.
Yeah.
So now I've done it a few times. Dawn did a national tour, so she did it like every week for like 18 weeks or something. And this, like Ben was doing that, like just touring. He was the only one going around. His job allowed it. So now I've done it a few times. It's like, okay, I've got the order I want to do it in.
Yeah.
But I also want to be able to not do it in an order. So like the way I memorized it would be like start here and get here, and then some callbacks. So I have to do some stuff in an order.
Yeah.
This time we're not doing like 3 opening acts. It's just gonna be the host and then I'm coming out. So it's like more of a theater, like the way you'd tour a theater. It's like you're not gonna watch a bunch of opening acts. You're there for a 60-minute show. So there's more pressure this time.
Are you recording it as well, like a DVD or something like that? Or like a
man,
a show
that's when you put it out, then it's gone.
Yeah.
So
It's a bit like
what sucks is only Shanghai has seen it, and now 1,000 people in Guangdong province have seen it.
Got it.
And there's millions of people here. So to retire it would be hard.
Yeah.
I do want to release it. Like, actually, we were going to film it in Beijing for iQIYI.
Yeah.
And I literally got COVID the day before. So I had printed up like set lists because we were filming it for a TV thing.
Yeah.
And then I went to get my bank card, and it takes like 7 hours to get a bank card for some reason. And I stayed at home, and then I managed to somehow in the bank I got COVID. And then Adam Hamilton took my spot.
Right.
But yeah. So yeah, I almost released it. I'm glad I didn't.
Okay.
And then
so you're gonna sort of run with it for another couple more months.
I'll tour with it.
Right. Yep.
So once the touring thing is set up, I'm gonna force myself to just do jokes, like new material. I've started new material. Here's my set list on the back of my phone.
Oh, nice.
So it forces me to do the new stuff.
Right.
And then put it out. But like Andrew Schultz did, like split it up into jokes.
Right.
Release them one joke at a time, and then I'll do the whole thing on Bilibili or something.
Yeah, that seems to be the trend now with all the comedians. Like if they bring out a Netflix documentary, I saw Chris Rock's one, and it was South Africa, New York, London, Johannesburg. You had all these places, and it was just one joke here, one joke there.
Chris Rock always did that. So you like walk across the stage of the setup and walk back, but it cuts to him in a different room.
Yeah.
That's a nice validating way to say like these things work worldwide.
Yeah, yeah.
But I know like because of like the throwaway jokes that I've posted that did well, that if I did my act one joke at a time, each video would probably do especially if Nora shares a couple. But the first one, I didn't even tell them. I just posted it, and they were like, got like 10,000 likes, which I didn't. I was like, that's got to be nothing in China.
Yeah.
But apparently, 1,000 is good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So I know if I post those, they should do well enough. But crowd work seems to be what makes people buy tickets for shows. And I'm. When my visa situation is 100% stable, I'll put stuff out. But like right now, I just want to go 3 months at a time.
Yeah.
It's so the show's on the 16th. It's the public holiday.
Yes. So
yeah, I wanted to do it on the Saturday, but that's a big South African holiday, so I asked them not to. And then it's at 7:30. Adam Chen Lao Su is the host.
Come on.
Have you seen him? He's like super TikTok character guy. People love
Is this
that
the
guy.
4 million views or something? Didn't you say
He's got like 4 million followers, yeah.
16. That's going to be a busy holiday.
I hope so.
Because I'm promoting the 14th with
you're
the
on the
wrestling.
15th.
Yeah, the wrestling that I'm promoting.
Jan's Curfew Spectres, September 15th.
On the 15th.
I did my research too.
And then you're playing on the 16th. What a great week.
Live music is because Spectres, when I saw that, I was like, oh man, I really miss live music. Spectres is the last place I drank alcohol.
Really? Ooh.
And you know when you know it's going to be a last day.
Yeah.
Like we did it on purpose. Like we went and I went there the other day just once to drop off like, there's a new guy in town,
Yeah.
and Lucas, and I didn't know him. I just met him. He arrived late, and then on his way home, I was like, "Oh, you live next to a really cool bar," and then I dropped him off, and then went home, and then he had a great time. But I ran in, and then I was like, saw Morgan, and then he's like, "Oh, you want a drink?" And I'm like, I gotta go right now.
Good man.
It's hard to. If I fall off the wagon, I'm doing it there.
Yeah.
At a Jen's curfew.
Yeah, come on. Should be, and you got to dress up. It's back to school. So,
Alright.
So I'm going as I've got my.
Can I go as a headmaster? I feel.
Yes. And you wear the hat. I'm going as Angus Young. I've got my. I got my suit.
Australian.
My Aussie.
He's still. I'd like to see a cage fight with him and Keith Richards.
Oh.
Just two old dudes. AC/DC had Axl Rose singing with them for a
Couple of
bit,
years ago,
and they wouldn't even let him stand in the middle. They're like, you can sing, but he was like behind the drummer.
Angus is still the man. He's like, he's running that thing.
Yeah, they're just like, stay out of Angus's way, and you can wear a.
And he's still got the uniform, and he's gonna do that to the day he.
Can he be buried in his uniform?
Yep.
I think
definitely
he should get stuffed. We just have him taxidermized.
But they interview him and they say, I've done this since I was 15 years old. I don't know anything else. Playing guitar in a band, in a rock band.
Yeah.
So if I stop, what am I going to do?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
just always wonder how Keith Richards did it. And you forget that AC/DC is still doing it too.
Yeah. I mean, what did he just turn 70? So, yeah. And when they first started, he was just a kid. He was like...
Yeah. My friend just
14,
sent me
15.
an Alice Cooper documentary.
He's going strong as well.
But yeah, I think he found God, or that's what the documentary's about. And I want to watch it, but it's usually like something I do on a Sunday, and I watched Alien instead.
Right.
I get struck by lightning.
And
later.
I saw your review. You said it was the best movie you've seen in a long time.
I don't know if they loaded Alien 1 into an AI and said, this is the aesthetic we want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so it wasn't like a Gen Z kid recreating something, but it felt so true to the... And I realized something. China's too safe.
They cut out.
Because my wife almost broke my arm shitting her pants. Like, and I felt like a man for the first time. Like, this isn't that scary. Calm down. But it was so nice to be like next to a terrified woman. And being like, we're good.
Yeah, I'm the man.
Yeah, it was really cool. And like the lady behind me was like kicking my chair.
Oh yeah, right.
Like real.
Was it the 3D glasses?
No, it wasn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So my question is, should I watch it on TV or should I go to the cinema?
Watch it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Ian. Social medias, mate. Where can we find you online?
Ian Badenhorst. My name is pronounced Badenhorst. Ian Badenhorst. That's Instagram. Ian B Comedy. And then on WeChat, so Spicy we signed a contract with them. They're an MCN.
Oh yeah, okay.
So we are signed to their MCN. So the social media stuff. So that they own the account. Ian Toko Show, like the Chinese characters.
Oh yeah, right.
So that's where my viral clips are.
Nice.
But if you just found my personal chat, then you wouldn't see.
You're okay if it's personal. They add you on.
No. And then I have Comedy Corner, which I think, I don't do the. So we have. Let's just shout it out. MSG Comedy with Lily and Emma. Comedy Remedy is Iris and Ivy. Ivy's an OG from back in the day. She had a baby, was out for 3 years now. She's back doing comedy now.
What's the all-girl one that they're doing?
Hilarious.
Yeah.
But Li Ying had her baby, so I don't know how long.
She had it finally. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know how long it takes for her to get back in the mix. That's going to be an exciting show.
I'm going to say not too long. I think she'd be pretty keen to get back out there.
Yeah. and then Dawn is away in Europe. But so there's Thursdays, Park Tavern. They don't really have a brand name, but if you're in the if you add Comedy Corner will add you to all the groups, and you can find comedy. So that's a channel on WeChat. You just type in Comedy Corner, and then I've decided to make Comedy Corner like a magazine.
Oh, nice.
Like just like comedy, and I'll shout out anybody. They have in Hong Kong Comedy Hong Kong,
right?
Like Garen Chu, and he just any comedy in the city, they'll promote. And there's a guy in Thailand called Chris Wagoda, who is also putting together a list of all the promoters in Asia. So we'll find a place where if you're in Asia, you can find all the comedy.
Right.
And I know it's about me, but in the interest of developing comedy in China, there's also Chengdu and Chongqing doing very, very well.
Nice.
Just shout them all out. So Korea and Leon and Sasa in Chongqing. There's Aziz, he's a South African guy, and Shaman. So Shaman Comedy Club is back. They have a mic. People ask me all the time, hey, I'm in this city. Is there comedy?
Where do I go? Yeah.
Beijing, I would say Donnie Fan, Comedy Citadel is the place to go. There's a guy called Tony Cho. I don't know the name. Sorry, Tony. And then what other city? Then there's Shenzhen. So Mr. Ryan and Takeout Comedy and the Big Bears, Big Bear Comedy Club. They handle Guangzhou as well.
Right.
There's a new comedy group in Guangzhou I'm not sure of. And then there's Xi'an Comedy Club.
Nice. This is
Jazz.
Yeah,
there's a guy named Jazz. I forget the name of his bar. And another guy called Irwin, who has a bar called The Crack. They will have comedy if they can. Wuhan Comedy Club, Casey. He's got 3 venues that have it. And they're also about to kickstart comedy. The Shanghai guys are going to go to all those regions to try boost things. So that's very cool. And then I heard Qingdao has a scene starting now. So they have like decent shows.
I used to live there as well. It's a great spot. Yeah.
Oh, and Nanjing, Kayla Kai. She has a room. And then Han Q is in Suzhou now.
Yeah, right. Okay.
And he's waiting for me to leave here right now. He's staying at my place now, but he's starting comedy up there. So
I saw Lewis Katz from America in Suzhou, and that.
Oh, you had him on your own podcast as well.
Yeah,
I watched that. Yeah,
that was one of my first ones, and that was 3 years later, and I just hit him up, and he just got shut down with, but he's got his own comedy show. He had his own show on the Comedy Channel.
Yeah,
in the US, he's doing great. So
really
happy for him. He's got a real dry sense of humor. He got that really straight face, just telling it as it is. But he does good. All right, so here's our final part of it. Your top 2 or 3 from the questions that I give you. Just your top 3 as of today.
Top 3.
Who are your top 2 or 3 favorite bands or artists?
Favorite song? I'd say the Pixies.
Yeah.
I put the Pixies up there because they're like the one band I could put on and listen to, and even their newest stuff. It's not great, but it's Kim Deal Pixies.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put it that way. Dinosaur Jr.
Yeah.
Because they have like 2 of my favorite songs. But what I'm really into right now is Jen's Curfew.
Really?
Yeah,
wow.
dude. Pogo, have you heard of Pogo?
Pogo.
He's Australian,
but
really? South African. Definitely like a Cape Town kid.
Yeah.
And he does. There's a word for it, but I'm too old to know the name of the genre. But he mashes up Disney quotes and stuff, and he has like electronic music. It's beautiful.
I've heard of him as well. Yeah. What was the first album you ever bought?
Jane's Addiction, Ritual de Habitual.
Ah.
CD. It was that I bought with my own money. First cassette I bought was Andrew Dice Clay's "The Day the Laughter Died."
Nice.
Yeah.
And
But Jane's Addiction, I think my first 2 CDs were Jane's Addiction.
right.
And I don't even know why.
That's good. That's a good album. Good band.
Yeah, that's got Being Caught Stealing on it.
Mm.
But I spent all my money on music. That's how I became a DJ by default. Because I just had so much music. And then my brother and I collected music, and then like a bar asked us if we wanted to DJ. And my brother started literally the first private, like it was him and this guy Andrew. They paid bands and DJ'd, and they ran the night, and they paid everything out of the door and put on live music. And they did Saturday nights. And then the owner of the bar asked, because we just left the music in his bar,
Right.
he asked me if I would do Wednesdays, like the student night. So that's how I started DJing.
Yeah, right.
But it was all live music. And even, remember, you know the band Seether?
Yeah.
They used to be called Sarin Gas.
Ah.
They had to change their name because of the sarin gas attack in Japan.
Yeah, right.
When they went to America, they're like, you can't go. If you listen to the sarin gas album, it's the same as the Seether one. And they played for like 400 R&B for the whole band. They played at my brother's, and
That's awesome.
and they played for so long. People were sitting annoyed, like, just finish.
Hurry
so we
up.
can-
You got your money's worth.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Yeah, right. Your Mount Rushmore of all-time favorite comedians for you.
Okay, I'm gonna take Bill Cosby off it. No, actually,
It's just like Michael Jack. If you say
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, forget
Yeah.
about what he did. No,
I'm joking. I didn't really like Bill Cosby.
Really?
So
Okay.
growing up, my first like introduction to comedy was Red Fox. So it was Sanford and Son, but it was filthy. It was like comedy records. So Red Fox, and then because I grew up in South Africa at the end of apartheid, like there's a guy called Dick Gregory who was also like in the Martin Luther King world, very political comic.
Oh.
And Bill Cosby, all these black comics in South Africa, I don't know how they made it into the mainstream, but it feels like it was on, like the Cosby Show is a huge hit that white South Africa was watching every week.
Yeah.
And you know, he was famous for being positive role models for
the father. Yeah.
yeah. So like all those black Jeffersons, Family Matters, Steve Urkel, all those were like big. So Dick Gregory was like a huge comic that I really liked all the way up until he died, like in 2016. Got a little nutty at the end. So him and Red Fox, Billy Connolly.
No, nice.
So in South Africa, British comedy was like at the forefront.
Yeah, he's good.
So Billy Connolly is like, oh, okay, I'm going to say this. Also, British comic, Irish comic, Tommy Tiernan.
Oh, yes.
Absolute, like, just if I want to cheer up, if I've lost my groove for stand-up, there's a set on YouTube of Tommy Tiernan in the park.
Right.
He's doing an open field, like a festival.
Yeah, right.
Killing. And you're like, everyone will say never do comedy outdoors, always have a low ceiling. And this guy just comes out. But I remember Tommy Tiernan in 1997, and he was a young kid. Bill Bailey had a TV show, and my friend, we watched him. And there's something poetic about an Irish vernacular, but that guy. So that's okay. That's 4.
That's 4. Okay, good.
Sorry, America.
And 2 of your up and coming that we should be looking out for, 2 comedians
in Shanghai.
Oh well, yeah.
Oh no, okay. Well, we can do Shanghai, and we can do. There's a guy, Davey, at Spicy. He actually teaches a comedy class. He's very young. He does comedy in Chinese and English. He's like, whatever he's doing now is not as fun as because he started Comedy in America.
Right.
Really good joke writer, really good premises.
Right.
I don't know, up and coming. Like, to me, you're only still a beginner, like, even if you're 5 or 6 years in.
Yeah.
So it's hard to. It sounds like I'm insulting a beginner, but who's new.
3 favorite sporting teams.
Golden State Warriors. And I'm not one of those, they just recently won.
Yeah.
I was a Chris Mullin fan.
Oh, wow.
I often wear a Run TMC hat, which I saw in Taobao, and I was like, I know who that is. Most people think I don't. Do you know what Run TMC is?
Run TMC.
So you know Run DMC.
Yeah.
So back in the Chris Mullin days, Tim Hardaway, Mitch Richmond, and Chris Mullin were a trio.
Oh.
The highest scoring backcourt in the NBA.
Right.
And collectively, they scored about as many points as one player in the NBA today, because people used to defend back then. But yeah, so I was a basketball player. I played for South Africa under 18.
Right. Wow.
I was a good shooter, and I was a Reggie Miller fan and a Chris Mullin fan.
There you go.
And I took Reggie Miller's shooting skills and Chris Mullin's alcoholism, and I put those two things together
And become a comedian.
He was a left-handed shooter, dude. I couldn't emulate him, but I could drink.
You're left-handed?
No, that's why I had to choose Reggie Miller.
All right, okay.
So, South African rugby team.
Oh, the
Springboks.
Springboks. Yeah.
It was weird. My dad would support France. I don't know why he hated South Africa so much.
How does that work?
I don't know what his problem
Just
was.
like,
but we would wake up. It's the best memory is waking up and watching.
Oh, and them in the the 90s and even in the 2000s.
Yeah. But when I was a kid, we were banned from playing sports. So we'd play against the British Lions or the All Blacks was always fun because in apartheid South Africa, like to have our biggest nemesis team being called the All Blacks was poetic justice.
Yeah.
I would always get hammered by them.
Well,
and then even Cape Town's a home game for them.
Oh yeah.
But it's cheesy, but honest to God, the movie Invictus, the 1996 World Cup Championship, was, and I'll talk about it and get goosebumps, the greatest feeling I've ever experienced.
Matt Damon, right? Was it Matt Damon?
Well, not the Matt Damon bit. I'm saying if you watch the movie, it's so funny because
how was his accent? Did you think?
Because Morgan Freeman was Mandela in that. And when Mandela died, people were tweeting Morgan Freeman like, "I'm sorry you're dead." But did
he have a good accent?
Springbok rugby team. Not only we've won the World Cup, and it's like South Africa's like hanging on by a thread, and that rugby team just keeps us in the game. So it's so loaded that to not say them, like it's insane how I remember we won the World Cup in '96, and I ran out my house, and like in that movie, it's sort of like. It looks weird. People were like car surfing on minibus taxis. Like strangers were hugging each other. And it's like, there's no television on the streets. They must have heard it on the radio.
Yeah. Wow.
It was wild. Yeah, all those moments in like, because I was too young to vote in the 94 elections, but I worked in a call center. So people would, with radios, call in to check IDs and the voter roll and stuff, and then we would be in this, it's called the Martin West building, validating. Yeah, okay, cool, and just being part of it. But then that rugby match cemented it because it was like a 2-year transition period. And then since then, you're just like, it's the one It's like Manchester United.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Like the cages when we won at cages, like it was just wild.
Yeah. Interesting. Last one. Who's your greatest inspiration / hero and why?
Oh man, because it sounds so cheesy. It's like Nelson Mandela.
Not at all.
You know what I mean? Like it's so weird because it's like.
Do you think someone from China is going to say Nelson Mandela?
No, but it's like when you say why, it's like I don't know if it's him, but it's like the people around him.
Yeah.
I always liked this, like when you're a kid, like all kids in a time like that, young people are always like activist types, like, oh, screw the man, whatever. So it was like this beautiful, horrible, but like the moment of change. It's like we were too young to vote or anything, but like it changed, and we were taught from a young age what was going on around us was wrong. You know what I mean? Like no one in my circle was like, we got to hang on to this. It's like, it's a matter of time.
Yeah.
So it was like, but the Truth Commission, there was this thing where after apartheid ended, they had like these hearings where everyone confessed. It was like this weird healing thing, like where everyone said what they did, they owned up to it. Some people went to jail. Some people were given amnesty and forgiven. And he really tried. And what I liked about him was he was like, this is what we want. When we get it, we'll stop fighting. Like it was very, very clear. And there was no like counter-revolution after that.
Yeah.
And so in the romantic sense, yeah, him. But if you like, as history gives us more clarity, you realize he had a lot of pressure. And
for sure.
but there's some great speeches of him where he's like, I think Walter Cronkite's like asking him why he supports Cuba, and he's like, because they supported us.
Yeah, right.
What do you think? He's like, you think I'm just gonna drop him?
Of course.
And and like, he just had balls, man. Steve Biko I really liked, but he was killed in captivity. Like, but that, like, those two guys were like this, like, sort of heroes.
Yeah, change.
Because it's easy to be an activist, and like I always like to think I was, but come on, you're not fighting. Like it's like someone who looks cute at the gym.
Yeah.
Like you go to the gym, but you're there to look cute. You're not working out.
Yeah.
So.
Plenty of
but I was there in spirit, you know what I mean? Like, it sounds terrible, but those guys were like, wow, they really in it. And my favorite thing about Steve Biko is that my hometown, they renamed all the streets and my street that I grew up on was renamed Steve Biko Road.
Ah, right.
So it's like, that's my street.
There you go, mate. Thank you very much for your time.